Hey y'all, it's Holly. So I watched Dhurandhar finally. It's been out for like 2 months now. Um, it was good. Um, I've liked different Indian movies better. Like I've seen a few, but like this one was overly long. I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know what to say about it. But yeah, I get why this is doing well. I see why it's doing well. So basic plot, before I get too far in, is it apparently is based off of like somewhat of a true story, or based off of a true story of India sending in essentially spies, sort of, into Pakistan to infiltrate like their criminal organizations and figure out like when they're going to attack next. Because this was after a 1999 So 1999 plane hijacking, and then like a 2001 attack on the parliament. So if they were being attacked around the same time America was by Pakistan, and I'm still listening like they are, but so it's based off that. And they're trying to figure out like how they're getting in, how they're doing this stuff. So they sent in a guy to do that, or send a few people in. So it's about that mission. Um, so there is a lot of cultural context and historical context I'm missing. Um, and like, so typically I do avoid these kind of ones because of that. Like if I'm gonna watch like a Indian movie, I typically go for like just pure action where it's like occasionally cops versus robbers kind of stuff, but I can follow it. Or like a historical where like they explain enough or it's like far enough in the past that it's like not as culturally deep. I mean, it's culturally deep, but like not as heavy, I guess. Um, and I was hesitant with this, I'll say at first, because um, there is a bit of like, I don't know how uh, the depictions of the Pakistanis would be. Where it's like, oh, it's Pakistan. It's like, okay. Because I do know that there's, like, within some groups, some animosity and some racism and all that jazz. So it's like, I don't know how this is going to fare. And for the most part, they are pretty much the villains. There are some good ones too, but it's like, for the most part, they're going to be the villains. It's not too far off from how we Americans depict, like, Middle Eastern like people like Afghanis and stuff around that time or even in the 80s. So it's not terribly different. It's a bit more nuanced actually than the, except for one bit. And I'll get to that. But the length is daunting. The length is 3 hours and like 42 minutes. Very long. Um, and it's very violent. So like very, very violent. And like um I did actually at my theater have people like, you know, you're allowing in like little kids in this movie. It's like it's not rated where we are, so we have no rules against that. That's on the parents. But so the part that did bug me, there's a couple of parts that bugged me, and I'll get those out of the way now. But one, the focus, like like the actual focusing within the movie, seemed a little oftentimes there was a lot of blurriness a little bit. And I don't think it was the screen I was watching because the subtitles were clear. So I think that was more just that. And that was a little distracting at times, like a little like, but the other thing that did bug me and did begin my worry of how the Pakistanis were going to be portrayed and how the Indians were going to be portrayed themselves, um, was the first gang the guy meets up with, and like the like first main gang. Like he joins a gang, but it was like a small rival gang. Is they're played off, like two of the main guys in that gang are played off to be like not only the villainous, but they are almost like they're gay too, which like in a gross way too. So it's like, like the first main villain, like reaches down into the guy's pants. Is like, oh, yes, that's so glorious, kind of the nectar of life. Is like, ooh, ooh, and he was gonna the guy too. So I was like, ugh, I don't like that. And then his boss, like the main villain, main head of that gang, is also a little too. It's just like that's odd because like in the other ones I've seen, that's not really the case. So this one stands out. Like I don't really see that depiction in the other movies, but I see it in this one. So it is a little. Um, like yeah, that part did definitely bug me. And then once you get further in, you do start to get a bit more of the because this is maybe because I once again I don't know the actual recent history. I don't know the cultures. I don't know the like anything really. So when it shows the I and I hold on. I think INS, not INS, like their military force, the Pakistani military, like internal affairs. I blanked down entirely on that, but it shows them and like one of the main villains is in charge of. I think this is where I kind of got lost. I think he is either the Pakistani military or like in charge of their like foreign affairs stuff. One of the two. Um, there's like I believe, was the abbreviation. But either way, once they came into the scene, they did have them do things that, once again, this is based on a true story. So I'm going to assume it's true. But like they were poisoning the water supply to get back at like a small group. Like he pretends to be part of a group called the. I want to make sure I get these right um, because okay. So here we go. Um, he pretends to be part of um, a Balak, and I don't know what position in society are, what they are. Like it's a group of like it's like an actual like group of society. Um, that's also up for elections and stuff. And the one of the main guys, bad guys, ISI, um, is like they're poisoning the water supply of them and doing evil things like that. And like I have to assume that's true. I don't know. Um, uh, there's that. There's some really graphic torture scenes they're doing. Once again, they're like evil and stuff. But the because it goes into like various elections at the time and stuff that going way over my head. But it's still entertaining. All the actors are really good. I didn't necessarily recognize any of them, although a couple of them were in movies I have seen. So like the main character, the main actor, Radvir Singh, who plays Hamaz Hamza, um, He was in a movie I've seen years ago called um, Pad Padmavat, about a like 13th century Indian queen, which is a very good movie if you can find it. But oh, he's also in 83. I didn't see 83, but I remember 83 being popular. 83 was about a cricket team. Um, but he was good. I haven't seen him in anything that I recognize. Oh, he was in Master, but I didn't see that one either. He was good. The main head of like the gang he joins. Um, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen him in anything. Oh, he's in Border too. Okay. Well, I haven't seen those, but yes, he's in those. Um, yeah, nothing I've seen. I did like him though. Um, let's see. Anyone I actually did recognize? Okay. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Um, the head of the police force, I have seen him in um, Jawan and KGF. Okay. Him I knew I kind of recognized. Oh, he's also in Samshara. Okay. So he's been a bit more ones. Um, there was another person who was in something that I recognized. Uh, no. Okay. But for the most part, it was good. Like I said, a lot of it is lost on me. Um, it's recent history, but there is still a lot of cultural like subtext in there, like cultural stuff. Because it's not only Indian culture dealing with it; it's also Pakistani culture, which I definitely know nothing about. Um, so there's a lot going on there. Um, but basically, this is only part one. Part one, spoilers, but it ends with him killing the head of his gang, and getting ready to go against the head of the police force and the INI. And then I just think I wasn't. Yeah. So he's ready to take out the other ones. But this is another thing I noticed. I don't know if this is the case at all, but and if any Indian viewers are watching this, so or stumble upon this, maybe I'm right on this. Um, the headquarters, the secret headquarters of the um, uh, LTF, the task force, that headquarters looks very, very familiar to me. Like I've seen it in something, and I want to say, hold on, let me look back at the indie movies I have rated. Hold on. I want to say it's been a business. I've seen one. My gosh, it's not Joan Keelia. I know that. Kill. You know what? This is easier for me to do. Country. India. There we go. Let's go with that. Okay. Um, it l- it looks like maybe, um, maybe like I've seen him. It feels like I've seen it. Walter maybe Kootenai, maybe one of those two. I don't. It's not Patan. I don't think it's Patan. It's not Mavaran. I know that one. Definitely not Tigas. Definitely not Tiger 3. Um, but yeah, maybe Patan. Walter de Viria or Putney, something like that. Like, but basically that area, like that set piece, does look very familiar. Um, if you do like these kind of movies and you do like learning about like recent history and stuff like that, I'd say give it a watch. It's on Netflix right now. It's still in theaters, and the sequel, part two, is coming out next month in March. So there is that, and that's going to be huge. But that's what I mean. Why I feel like when I said earlier, why I see why this is doing well is because it still hits home. Because during the movie, they even show bits, and you hear bits of like the Mumbai attacks in 2003. Like they even have like audio recordings of that, so it still hits really hard for a lot of people, presumably. Um, so I see why it's doing well, but it's good. It's not my favorite. It's well done. I like all the actors, but it's not the one that I really can really sink my teeth into.